Devin McCourty is brought to you by the top defense if you've been injured, Catches Law Group. At Catches, you pay nothing unless they win. They are the official law firm of the New England Patriots, and Devin McCourty joins us on the Harbor One hotline. Hello, Devin.
What's happening? What an intro by Wiggy, and Courtney to not know who Teddy P is outrageous.
Right.
I know. I'm going to do a
Philly
deep
legend.
dive. Deep dive
It's
after.
originally Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
I like the song.
Love making music. He's the guy.
You
Okay.
have, Devin, you have something special planned for the missus today, I hope?
No. We're married with 3 kids. Valentine, we'll go to lunch. We'll
Oh,
have time for dinner.
Okay.
Usually you wait to the weekends when you got the kids.
Yeah.
That's what we usually do. We're a
Yeah,
weekend.
like it. And she just got to go to Vegas for like 4 days while I worked. She had a great time.
Well, speaking of that, another dynasty looking to give yours a run for its money, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool being a part of what I got to be a part of, and then watching that game. Like Kansas City, the start of the game wasn't great. Like different points, you're just waiting. You know, I think the second half, you see Kansas City come out, you're like, all right, here they go. Pacheco fumbles, then a negative play, then Mahomes throws an interception. You're like, the 49ers, like, here you go. Like, stick a fork in them. And I thought Kansas City's defense getting a stop right there was the biggest kind of moment in the game that gave Mahomes a chance to be Mahomes. And it's unbelievable watching him down the stretch in the clutch moments. Like, I had so much fun watching that game in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Wiggy was loudly proclaiming that Kyle Shanahan made a mistake when it came to taking the ball. And Courtney, one of our leads this week was about Niners players who apparently were unaware of the new overtime rules when it came to the playoffs. Do you think that was that either of those a fireable offense or an issue when it comes to Kyle Shanahan?
To me, it's definitely an issue. I wouldn't call it a fireable offense just because I think when you fire somebody, you got to believe somebody better is out there. I don't know if you file Kyle Shanahan that you're going to necessarily have a better football team. But I thought taking the ball in overtime was a huge coaching mistake. Like Bill Belichick used to say it all the time, good players can't overcome bad coaching, and I thought that was bad coaching. I think you throw in the analytics and, you know, they say the likelihood of blah, blah, blah. Like, does the analytics take in factor that you're playing against Patrick Mahomes? Because to me, you let them go, see what they do, field goal, touchdown, now you can counter. But I just didn't like the idea of we're going to see what we do on our drive and then see if Mahomes can match it. And then I think it was embarrassing for them as an organization for guys to, after the game, say they had no idea that the rules changed. I thought, obviously, for Shanahan, you want to go over that. But I think also as a professional, like, what are we doing? Like, we're not paying attention to anything football other than when we're in the building. Like, I think God should have been aware of, hey, there was this huge divisional playoff game a couple of years ago that created a stir, and they changed the rules. Maybe you don't know exactly, but I thought it was wild that guys thought if they took the ball and went down and scored, that would be the game, knowing that was such a big deal around the NFL like a year or two ago.
Dev, when you look at that game, I think we talked about this before, and we said, you know, the pressure from San Fran to get to Patrick Mahomes, it would be a big reason why San Francisco would have the opportunity to win the football game. I thought they were able to kind of make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable all night. But I think when you start to look at the offense of San Francisco and not having the ability to capitalize on those situations, I thought was major throughout that football game, that San Fran wasn't able to capitalize, especially offensively, the way that the D was playing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it goes back to what we keep talking about with the greatness of a quarterback and a head coach. I thought San Francisco had an awesome game plan. I think that the beauty of the Super Bowl is how hard are you practicing, how much are you hitting, I thought both teams looked like they didn't really get after it that much in practice. I thought the rustiness, the fumbles, it just looked like two teams that hadn't played in a while and maybe didn't, ramp up their intense practices. And I thought San Francisco did a really good job of forcing Kelsey to take other routes, not necessarily always jamming with somebody else, but getting in his face, then being off, and they packed the middle of the field. And all of Kansas City's routes are in the middle of the field. Second half, Andy Reid goes in there, makes adjustments. Kelsey's running more outside breaking routes. The other receivers running outside breaking routes, which then forced San Francisco to play a little bit more man. And then Rashee Rice, the middle opened up on some crossing routes. So I think, when you think about who you're playing against one of the greatest head coaches of all time and a quarterback that's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you don't capitalize in the first half where you have them, they can't figure anything out, and you walk away with only 10 points. I thought San Francisco needed to walk away with 17 or 21 points in that first half just to create some distance because Kansas City was going to figure something out and have a better second half. And I thought failing to do that put them behind an 8 ball.
When it comes to failing to do that, Devin, though, do you put that on Brock Purdy? Because we've been talking and debating on this show, if they're just a quarterback away from being the best team in the league, then would you want a different quarterback if you were on this Niners team?
I don't put it on him. I think I thought the one play that he could have back that would have been a huge moment was the Deebo Samuel. They went hard play action. L'Jarius Sneed went to the quick jam. Deebo Samuel at the line of scrimmage. He misses him. Deebo's wide open. Chris Jones is running at Purdy, but I thought he had enough time to get rid of it. And I think the hard thing about quarterback is all your kind of great plays, they don't get talked about when you lose. And I thought there was a time in the game, Kansas City sends the blitz. Purdy looks right first, spins all the way back around, throws it to McCaffrey for a big gain. That to me was a game-changing play. But then, the play that gives you 7 points in overtime to make the game, a third possession game, you don't block Chris Jones. And that gives him a free run at Purdy. I mean, on the other McDuffie blitz, he probably could have found Ayuk in the middle of the field. But that happens. But I thought the big moment that he could have had his moment to be a game changer, we can't not block Chris Jones. Anybody but Chris Jones to not block. So for me, I thought Brock Purdy until about the fourth quarter, I thought he was outplaying Patrick Mahomes. I thought he was having a better game. And then Mahomes' greatness, and I thought what Kansas City figured out as an offense helped him to, take off. I mean, we were up in the booth watching the game this is going to be crazy that we're going to give Mahomes MVP because he hasn't played well. And then, the rest is history. He took off and started really playing at a high level. But to me, Purdy's the guy there. And they fell a little bit short to a guy who's better than him. But, Purdy is a good quarterback, but there's nobody close to Mahomes right now. Whoever you think is number 2, Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, those guys are a good distance behind Patrick Mahomes.
Being there and seeing it in person, were you concerned when Andy Reid was nearly roid raged to the ground by Travis Kelce?
Oh, I love the Kelceys. I love Jason. I love Travis. But I thought it was out of control. No one made a big deal about what he just did. He just ran up on his coach that's not paying attention, almost knocked him to the ground, all because he probably wanted the ball in the red zone. It was just oh, he's coming over there to, tell Andy Reid to leave. I was no, he just bumped him. He just ran up on his head coach in the middle of the game. And obviously it won't be a big deal now because they won. It'll look like a moment that changed the second half for them. But I thought for Kelce, as a captain, as a veteran player, I was just yo, this is out of control. We're watching it. I was did he just run up on Andy Reid? I thought it was crazy. I don't think it helped the team at all. I think, we talk about this all the time. Jason Garrett always tells me these things. We talk about teams and this happens and that happens. That's probably why they won. And he was sometimes you win despite that, not because of that. And I thought that was something for Kansas City. They won, but that did not help the cause, him running up on Andy Reid.
Now, Dev, I know that a lot of people, they say they don't think about chasing records and all this other nonsense, which I believe that, you think of those things. And when you look at this Kansas City Chiefs team and you look at this franchise, they have to be thinking about chasing the Patriots in the dynasty, in the sense that you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Andy Reid, and you've won another Super Bowl. Like, if you're ownership of this team, do you look at that situation and go, we could go down as the greatest franchise in NFL history?
They have to get 4 more.
Right, but I think that this is the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
If I'm the owner, I look at that and I say, I'm doing whatever I got to do to make sure we get 4 more or get us as close to that as possible. Do you believe that's something that motivates Kansas City to do that?
Oh, those guys will be hanging. Travis Kelce will be hanging on as long as possible to play. I think the Hunt family will be pouring in whatever amount of money that Veach and Reed think that they need. Like, why wouldn't you? You're this close, and you have, like, we keep seeing all of these graphics where they keep putting Mahomes and Brady after, his first 7 years or 6 years, whatever it is, or at the age of this, at the age of, like, they understand we have somebody that is very rare, and as awesome as Brady was, we're 1 year removed from him playing football, and we're talking about a guy that could possibly catch him. I think Kansas City will pour every single resource in to not just trying to, catch the Patriots or be even, to, like, set something that they think will never be caught. Because you have a guy that's that good. You won back-to-back. Like, you have a chance to now three-peat, and I think they have to be sitting there like there's no reason why we won't three-peat. This was probably one of our worst seasons, and we still came out on top. So, obviously, like, you have to go do that. Like, it's easy to say that after watching what they just did, but each season's a different season. But if I'm them, I'm going all in on this. Like, there's no point of playing sports and not watching and seeing records and trying to top it. Like, everybody does that.
By the way, we got our advanced screener of Dynasty, which premieres on Friday on Apple, and you did an extraordinary job. So we're not allowed to say much about it, but have you seen it in its entirety yet?
Dang, I gave the documentary like 6 hours or 7 hours of my time, and you've already watched it, and I haven't seen any of it. That's crazy.
It is. Wiggy said it. I agree with him. I think it is better than The Last Dance. Yeah. I will say that. Yeah.
They're missing one major piece, but they're missing what started the dynasty. But I guess it is what it is with the producers.
You get a lot of airtime.
But no, straight up, I think it is better than The Last Dance because it's so long, that 20-year period where the dynasty for the Bulls was kind of short. So, and then there's like players like Devin, there's players like Lloyd, there's players like Ty, there's players like Rodney. Yeah. I mean, think about the generation of, the players that have come through.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about it, I think that's what Mahomes is going to have to do. Like, that first Super Bowl, I was a freshman in high school. Like, James White was in middle school. And, like, these are some of the guys who will end up being in the second part of the dynasty that watched the first dynasty in middle school and high school. And I think, like, it's crazy talking about Kansas City, but for them to catch what the Patriots did, like, there's a chance Mahomes is going to be taking some freshman or sophomore in high school to the Super Bowl in a few years, which is, like, ridiculous to think about.
It really is. Well, it has been an absolute treat having you on all season. This is it.
The best.
I hope you'll join us again next season if the money is there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. All right, we got you on tape. So you're here. Next season we're all set. We'll run it back every Wednesday with you next season.
That sounds like a plan.
All right.
State of Massachusetts verbally is binding.
Yep. We got to get him to the marathon party again.
Oh yeah. Well, he'll probably be. You coming to the marathon party this year?
Yeah, I got it okay with my wife. Last year I went 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So she might want me to back that down a little bit.
Bring her with you.
Yeah,
bring her with you. My wife will be there. They can hang out.
Get someone to watch the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the plan.
All right.
Courtney won't be there.
I will be there. I will be there. And a Capitol Grill is my favorite place T-shirt.
All right, Devin McCourty. Thank you as always. We'll talk to you soon. All right.